All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. It's my pleasure to visit with you today. Today is April 9th, 2024. We get together most weekday mornings to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. What brings us all together, I believe, is the common interest in the subject matter of building financial literacy resulting in access to capital. So we're going to talk today, as shared on the screen here, if all is going well, the KISS concept. Keep it simple, stupid. So certainly not calling any of you stupid, but that's just what KISS stands for. The point that we're trying to make is that you may need to simplify how you explain what we do, how we help clients, or they may not assimilate it. Not everyone's as smart as you. A lot of people are busy and multitasking and just want quick answers, even if to complicated scenarios. So the issue that we have is this: clients just want funding, and you want to educate on the process. So we have a little bit of a disconnect. Most clients, they don't want to really hear, not all, and this is a bit of a generalization, but in general, they just want funding. Get me funding. I need funding. But what you and I know is, hey, you don't just get funding, you have to qualify for funding. It's too good to be true to think that you can just sign up for something and immediately get funding. That's unreasonable. So, what I found to be successful, and I've shared it with you before, but I'm going to be more explicit today and ask you to consider it. So, we're going to use the lasagna analogy. Now, even if you've heard this before, hear me out, think about it, and let's discuss it because we've got a problem, right? We have a tremendous opportunity to help a lot of people and you make a lot of money. Each of your branches should make 100,000 a month. So that's a fact. But we've got to be able to bridge this gap between how smart you are and what you know and the typical client. So, what we're going to talk about for a moment is how to explain it to them in a way that hopefully they can understand, they can trust, and they'll move forward. Now, I've discussed before, so I'm on chapmanloanprogram.org. Let me scroll down. This is our gold mine right here. Let's go ahead and click it on for a moment, and then we'll pause it. So, this YouTube video describes the four-phase process. So if you're not using this when you're educating clients, I think you're probably misfiring. Strongly recommend using this. If you don't have an editable version, let us know. We'll get it to you. You can edit it as you want, or you could literally, click here, click share, and copy and paste. And then you literally have, if we paste it, so then you literally have a training video that's ready to go. Of course, there's a commercial here for whatever reason, but we'll give it 3, 2, 1, skip. No thanks. And then you have that training video. So the point that I'm trying to convey is that while this is a great way to see this is a great way to share the four phases in what we do. You may need to be able to give them a simpler analogy. So let's use the analogy here. So if you and I were to get together for dinner tonight, we're going to watch a movie, watch a sporting event, whatever we're going to do, but we're going to get together this evening and make dinner. We're going to make lasagna. What are the two things that we need? We need a recipe and we need the ingredients. That's what we need to make lasagna, the recipe and the ingredients. Okay, how does that tie to what you and I are talking about? So let's get back to this. So this shows the recipe. Can everyone see the screen? I have a couple people saying they can't see the screen. Let me fix that. Maybe I didn't share it properly. Okay, sorry. So now, do we see the screen now? Sorry, I had a misfire there. Do we see the screen now? Anyone, yes or no? Okay, great. Sorry about that. All right, so we're on Chapman Loan Program. What we stumbled around about saying is that we have our agenda here. Keep it simple, stupid. We got an issue. Clients just want funding. They tend to often be narrow-minded about that. What you and I want to do is educate how it really works, because otherwise it's too good to be true. And what we're going to use is the lasagna analogy. In addition to this, well, get that out of the way. In addition to this, which discusses the whole four-phase process. So if we're going to get together for dinner, take it from the top. If we're going to get together for dinner, we're going to make lasagna. We need the recipe. We need the ingredients. Well, when it comes to funding, do we have the recipe, which we could also call the formula? Yes, we have the formula. The formula is depicted on this four-phase document. Phase one, which we can pull up here. Phase one is getting, see if we can make that bigger. There we go. Phase one is creating a foundation of a fundable business. Phase two is building business credit worthiness. Phase three is building strong financials. Then we find the right type of funding and we get funding. So clients are just thinking about, I want money, I want money, I want money. But you can't just want money. You can't just need money. There's a process we go through. So using this to describe the process is best practice. We recommend that. But before we get to that point, we need a simple way to get the clients on the same wavelength. And I believe the lasagna is the analogy to use. And you could substitute a different food item if you wanted. So if we're going to get together and make dinner, what do we need? We need a recipe, and then we need the ingredients. Well, what is it that you and I do for them through the startup program? We have the recipe, otherwise known as the formula. We know exactly what it takes to have a fundable business, and it's addressed through these four phases. So here's the recipe or the formula for funding. We make it publicly available. It's not like we're selling a cookbook. It's not some secret. Oh, you got to give us some money or we won't tell you what we're going to do. None of that. So we make our recipe, our formula for funding, publicly available. So what keeps everyone from just going out and doing it on their own so your branch doesn't make any money? Well, it's the ingredients. The rubber hits the road with the ingredients. So you and I are providing the ingredients. Let's talk about the ingredients. Let's make that large again. So what are the ingredients that you and I are providing so they have lasagna? We're providing the address. If they don't have a unique address, we provide that for free. If they don't have an entity, we file that for free. The grant pays for it. We help them get their EIN and bank account. We help them get their first tranche of funding so they have seed capital. So these are ingredients that we're putting into the formula to get funding that they wouldn't have otherwise. Secondly, we're building business credit worthiness. More ingredients for the recipe, right? We're going to help them establish their credit profiles, and we're going to help them add trade lines, real estate, company automobiles, credit cards. So those are ingredients that we're adding to their recipe so they get lasagna, so they get the funding. On the third, we're actually transferring over $10,000 to them so they have collateral on their balance sheet. If that's not enough, they need more. We can transfer more. We can transfer within reason as much as is necessary so they have a strong balance sheet. So if we need to transfer hundreds of thousands of dollars over so they qualify for funding, we will do it. If we need to transfer millions of dollars to their balance sheet so they qualify for funding, we will do it because we need to have collateral. That allows us to go to funding. So here's our recipe. So if lasagna is here versus the money, here's our recipe. Here's an interesting point to consider, though. When it comes to ingredients, how many people we're going to feed for lasagna will determine how much pasta we need, how much cheese, how much ingredients we need in general, how much funding. The bigger the stack of funding here, of course, the more ingredients we need. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. So does it take more ingredients to get $1 million than it does to get 100,000? Of course. Otherwise, it's too good to be true. So with that being said, let's get back. Chapman Loan Program, pull up this. So the point that I'm trying to convey is that we need to lead with education. And the best way to educate, I believe, is using this 4-phase document. If you're not using this, I encourage you to do it. If you don't have an editable version of it, let us know. We'll get you that. You can just have it and talk through it. You can give them the on-demand recording. You could create your own on-demand recording, up to you. But we need to educate them about the process to become fundable, the 4 phases. What we're recommending today is to give them an analogy, the lasagna analogy, so it makes sense. All right, so what questions, what challenges are any of you facing when you're trying to educate a prospect? So let's step back. So you do 3 things, right? Branches do 3 things. Now you could outsource any of it or delegate, but what do? You generate leads, which is easy. We can show you how. You should never worry about leads. You educate leads, and then you enroll leads. Those are the only 3 things that you do, because we handle implementation. So we've got to make sure that each of you, either internally or you've delegated it, or you have some capacity to do these 3 things. Because if you don't have any leads, you're not going to make any money, and you're not going to help any people. If you're not good at educating people, then your leads are never going to enroll, because they don't understand the value proposition and how we can help them. And if you don't enroll leads, all the rest is a waste, because you're not going to make any money. So these are the 3 things that each of you need to be doing. These are the 3 things that we need to be helping you be successful at doing. So this morning, do any of you have questions, comments, concerns, need help with any of these 3 items? Because our goals should be what as a branch? Branch goals. Our branch goal should be to enroll 1 client per day. Our branch goal should be to generate at least 100K per month. These should be the branch goals. They're not requirements, but these are the 2 branch goals. But how does this happen? It happens by doing these 3 things. So my questions to you, Alfredo and Charles and Dr. Davis and Eric and Ernest and Gilbert and Gina, we have hundreds of people on here. I'm not going to list everyone's name, but what I'm trying to do is to get you to respond. Where do you need help? Is it with 1? Is it with 2? Or was it with 3? Because we need to help your branch be profitable. If your branch is profitable, you're helping people and you'll stick with it. Where do you need help? If you're not on track to make $100,000 this month, you need help. And it's okay to need help. We need to help you. What help do you need? Do you need help on leads, to generate leads? Do you need help on educating leads, which is what we were talking about earlier? And or do you need help on enrolling leads? So I'm looking for your feedback. If you could type that into the Q&A, it's kind of like a chat box of Zoom. What is it that each of you need help with? Justin, thanks for being on here. Your first client's about to get funded, Tanisha, but you're not bringing any other clients on, Justin. Your branch is not doing well. What do we need to do to help you? And that's true for each of you. I'm asking each of you, what do you need? Terrence, you've been around forever. Love talking to you. We're scheduled again today. No one's enrolling, Terrence. Just admit it. No one's enrolling through your branch. So where's the problem? It's got to be one of these 3. It can only be one of these 3. Well, it could be 1 or more of the 3. All right, so Eric says his issue is he needs Well, you say it's leads. Well, all of this has to do with leads, Eric, right? You got to be specific. Leads is in each of the three things you do. The question is, do you need help generating leads, Eric? Do you need help educating leads, Eric? Or do you need help enrolling leads? Because this is what you do. Each of you signed up, if you're currently with us, you signed up to run a branch office. And that's a smart thing to do. It should be very profitable. It's helping people. It's legitimate, it's legal, it's ethical. But you've got to do these three things. You're running a sales organization, Eric and Jeanette and Justin and Terrence and Robert and Pearlie and Pauline and all of you. You're running a sales organization. And your sales organization does these three things. You don't have to individually do all those things, but someone within your organization or someone you delegate to has to do these three things. If you need help generating leads, if you come to chapmanloanprogram.org, we have free certification, right? Get certified. Most of you have not gotten certified yet. So that's a problem, right? You should get certified so you are competent. It's free. So there's 5 modules, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Modules 2 and modules 3 talk about leads. So about generating leads, I should say. So if anyone's needing help generating leads, the first thing that we need to do is to get over here and go through modules 2 and 3. If you need help educating leads, we covered that in module 1. But module 1, quite frankly, is teaching you how to use this. And then when it comes to enrolling leads, number 3, it's kind of straightforward, right? You take the editable template that we've provided each of you. If you don't have it, let us know. And let us know if you don't have it. And then you take the template, you remove our information, you put yours on, you upload it into Adobe, DocuSign, whatever way you want, and you start enrolling leads. So anyone that needs one-on-one assistance, like Jimmy, that's fine. You know our phone number, Jimmy, call us if you need help. You know our email, call us. Now, if you're a current distribution partner, we should be having weekly one-on-ones in addition to whenever you need, but scheduled calls. But Jimmy, I appreciate you being on the Zoom, but here's the answer. Call or text us or email us and let's connect one-on-one. So what's the point today? The point today is you're in an incredible position. You know how any business can become fundable, legally and ethically. You know the process, the formula, the recipe. And it's depicted here, right? We need to have a business that's set up properly, phase 1. Needs to have business creditworthiness, number 2. Needs to have strong financials, phase 3. And then the right funding source, phase 4. That's what you and I do. You know it, or you should know it, like the back of your hand. You should have great confidence in that. With that being said, we know the recipe, we know the formula, and then what we do, you and I, what we do is we help clients have the ingredients needed to make the lasagna, to get the funding. And the point that we're making is you may want to use that type of analogy so people understand, hey, you want funding, right? We understand that you want funding to start or grow a business. That's great. But to accomplish that, you need to have a fundable business. And that's what we do. We received a grant to help individuals like you in role play become fundable. Well, what does that mean? And then that's where you teach them about the 4 phases, or just simply play this for them if you don't want to actually do the talking. This discusses what we do. And what's awesome about this, and I think that's what Jimmy sees and what Justin sees and so many of us sees, is that they're getting value every step of the way. In phase 1, not only are we working towards the goal, but they're getting their first tranche financing. In phase 2, not only are we working towards the goal, they're getting primary trade lines, like a company car. This is our real Porsche 911. It's not a real big deal, not bragging, but you or anyone can get a company car or multiple company cars. And so those are valuable trade lines. We can help clients do that. We can help them get business credit cards. But the point is, phase 2 is they need to have business credit worthiness. and they see the benefit while we're doing it, even while we're working on the process. And then over to phase three, we need to have strong financials. Again, they see immediate value because we're transferring the 10,000, and then we can even help them liquidate that. If they need more than 10,000 to have a strong balance sheet based upon their capital raise needs, again, we can transfer as much as it's needed. Depends on what's called their uses of funds. So with that being said, I encourage all of you to understand what you do. As a branch office, there's three things that you do. You generate leads, you educate leads, and you enroll leads. You need to be proficient or have someone that's proficient in each of those three areas. We need to make sure that your branch is enrolling clients, and if you're enrolling clients, you're going to be making money. We want every one of you to generate $100,000 this month, April, and in next month, May, and the next month, June. If we start just taking it one step at a time, let's go out and make sure we have leads. And then let's make sure that we educate the leads. And then if you educate them properly and send them your agreement while you're on the phone with them, what you're going to find is that about 95, 97% of them will enroll. All right, so any of you that need to reach us, again, I don't know what else to do other than to say chapmanloanprogram.org. You have our phone number, right? It's here. So Guthrie and Jimmy and everyone, here's our phone number. Here's our email. If you're not yet a branch office, it's easy. Scroll down under Opportunity Fund information, and it's in this red text. You click here. It'll pop up a screen, and you literally can become a branch office today. It's easy. It's easy. And no, you won't struggle. If you think, well, I'm not very good at generating leads, we can resolve that. You will not have problems generating leads. We can provide you leads. If you're worried about educating leads, then just simply use the training video that we have here. You don't need to worry about, oh, I'm not very good at educating. We can outsource that or use the tools. If you're worried about enrolling leads, that should not be an issue. All we need to do is to simply educate them, send the prospect while you're on the phone with them, preferably via text, a link to your contract agreement, which will help you get all set up, usually through Adobe or DocuSign. 95, 97% of people will sign up if you follow that best practice. Best practice, where'd that come from? Remember, Module 5 is actually about best practices. So I think a problem that some of you have, and I'll wrap up on this, is you're so busy doing whatever you're doing that you may not be paying enough attention to your branch. The first thing that I think that you should ensure that you do is get certified. Watch these 5 modules. If you want to take the assessment, fine. And there's no cost, there's no strings attached. But even if you don't want to take the assessment, diligently go through these 5 modules, and I think you'll be really surprised how easy everything is afterwards. But if you don't go through these 5 modules, I think you're operating on partial information, and you probably won't be successful. All right, well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Let us know what we can do. And again, it's not hard to reach us, chapmanloanprogram.org, phone number, email, and then once you're on board, we'll provide you our Calendly link and we'll schedule weekly calls. Thanks, everyone. See you back tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.